Stephen Bonanno is an IT professional with 20-plus years experience for world-class organizations. Steve has been recognized by the Security Exchange Monitor as one of the top 10 CIOs on Wall Street.
I am Steve Bonanno. I've been in the financial services technology sector for the better part of 2+ decades now, mostly working with Wall Street companies, well-known firms, stock exchanges. My primary expertise has been in the electronic trading technology world. So going back 2.5 decades, that was really the beginning of that wave of a revolution. And usually when I'm getting hired into companies, these are generally companies that are either shortly after their startup mode, or they are large companies that have business plans that rely heavily on technology to be implemented so that business plan can get realized. In the electronic trading world, however, though, that's probably the first time on Wall Street where technology became front and center. And walking into these companies, I was generally the guy that was given a short shot clock, which means I didn't have your typical very long range of time horizon to get a technology project done. So that meant that I needed to have a technology partner that could help me through this. That's when I kind of came in touch with the IIS guys. Those gentlemen came on board with me probably back in the mid-90s with a company called Instanet, and we worked on some very complex technology projects at that time. I leveraged IIS at that time primarily as an integrator of my technology, but as the relationship grew, I became heavily reliant on them to help me plan and forecast my technology roadmap. One of the most complex projects we worked on was the build out of the direct edge stock exchanges. This was a situation where you had a very successful electronic connectivity network that handled about 12% of the US markets in the equity space. And that meant that we needed to convert that to a US stock exchange. There were a lot of benefits with becoming a stock exchange at that time. Electronic connectivity networks had limited regulatory compliance requirements, but as a stock exchange, you're talking about a very highly regulated environment at this time now. And making that conversion meant that you had to be completely up to snuff with Securities and Exchange Commission regulations, FINRA regulations, before you could even launch and do trade number one. In order to do that, I needed to build a team fairly quickly. That's where the IIS guys came in. I've used them several times over my career as an extension of my team. And I've been able to redeploy them several times throughout my career very quickly as that team extension. Because a lot of times when you're building something as complex as a stock exchange, there's a lot of upfront work, some baseline stuff that needs to get done. But once you launch, you kind of tail back at that point. This is where IIS, again, has been a very key partner in my career. Their day two support has been something that I would recommend to absolutely anybody who works with systems integrators and professional services companies of their nature. The direct edge stock exchange, though, that was quite a special project. I mean, we built 2 United States stock exchanges from the ground up in an 18-month time frame. And I would venture to say that probably that had never been done in less than a 5-year time frame prior to that. We launched both of these stock exchanges on the same day. That had never been done previously in all of stock exchange history in the US, and I don't think it's been done since. That couldn't have been possible without the help of IIS. I mean, they were able to help us with our networking, our servers, our storage solutions, as well as our data solutions as well, and databases. Again, a lot of early onset technology solutions with IIS, and I would recommend them highly to anyone.